It's kind of an interesting game. A little bit, well, not a little bit uneven, a lot uneven. First and third quarters were kind of weird. Just didn't really feel the flow. In the second and fourth, you guys were like a machine. I'm sure you've gone back and analyzed the film at this point. What are the conversations you've had with the offense in general, but the offensive line in particular, about, hey, let's put what we saw in quarters 2 and 4 on the field for 60 minutes?
Well, you're right. The first and third quarter were as bad we played all year, and the second and fourth were probably the best. And like talking to the offensive line and the offense in general, is we can't start slow, especially versus a good offense like New Mexico State, and it kind of puts behind the 8 ball some. But as the game went on, we started getting a feel for what they're trying to do to us, and we could formate them and get the exact schemes we wanted, and in the end, that paid off for us.
In looking at the way the game went, and this was something I actually talked to Sat about last week, the way that New Mexico State's defense looked better to me was kind of coming north and south and going sideline to sideline. So I had projected that maybe Jalen's running style was going to work a little bit better than maybe Terrence's would, because I thought that was really the New Mexico State strength. Did you guys kind of see, hey, we can work them sideline to sideline probably more successfully than we can, although you did blow them off the ball quite a few times, especially in the red zone? What was kind of the scheme going into the game?
Well, we thought we could run the ball downhill at them, and as the game progressed, it was more our outside zone play was running. The good and bad, Jalen's so fast hitting the hole, if you're not perfect right off the get-go, then you have issues. So I think for him, the game slowed down in the fourth quarter, and he let us develop our blocks, and he let the blocks set up for him instead of him having to try to make a hole himself. But again, overall, you average 9.2 yards per carry. You can't be too mad about it.
No, you can't. And let's switch gears and go to Idaho. So I've watched. They've been hard to get a feel for a little bit. I watched some of the Western Michigan game to see them on the road, and then I watched the Louisiana game from last week to kind of get a feel for them in the Dome. I don't see defensively, and I may just be missing it, I don't see a lot of hocus pocus there. They kind of come straight at you. They don't do a lot of fancy stuff. It's just a disciplined, nice, steady kind of where we need to be defense. What are they looking like defensively that you guys are seeing?
Well, the first 2 games and the last 3 games are totally different. They were more of a 3-4 defense their first 2 games, and blitzing, slanting from everywhere. In the last 3 games, it's more been 4 down, make you beat them, playing deep safeties and make sure you don't beat them over top. And so we have to game plan for both and see what we get on Saturday. But it's going to be interesting because we're getting, out of the 5 games we broke down, 2 are totally different than the last 3. So they're a solid defense, though. Those guys play hard, and they're in their gaps, and so it's going to be a fun game.
You mentioned getting in that four down set. At least against Louisiana, those 4 guys were really effective. In fact, it wasn't like they were having to send linebackers and stuff to get pressure. They were getting a lot of pressure, and they were getting into the backfield just running 4 on them. What is the risk they pose, and then what is the opportunity for you guys maybe to use some of that aggression against them?
Well, I'm not sure his name, but 22 has been outstanding on D-line.
Hayeswood.
He's not listed as a starter, but he goes third down package. He's hell on wheels, and they had 6 sacks total last week. I think he had 3 of those. Mm-hmm. And again, they also bring in the top linebackers in the conference, number 3. I think he's one of the best in the conference. But again, they try to find mismatches. They try to get you to overload one side and bring the blitz from the opposite side, and that's hard to see, especially the young center. But they try to confuse you in some ways, but again, they're more a base defense and don't beat us over the top.
Speaking of your young center, you're coming up on halfway through the season. Where is Noah right now to where Noah was 6 weeks ago?
Oh, he's night and day. The one thing with Noah, he wants to be a great player, and before his time is done here, he's going to be one of the best centers ever come through Appalachian State, in my opinion. You can't say good things about him. You have to be careful how you coach him, because you tell him the wrong thing, he's going to do that. And sometimes you just tell him to be a ball player and do what you think is right. We're not going to be there for you during the game, and sometimes you just got to be a football player. But he's doing great. His snaps are on the money by every time, and he's about 90% on calling protections, and so tickled to death with him, and he's got a bright future.
Thanks, Sean. Good luck this week. Appreciate that. Thank you.